What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Deep Dig of Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew, with my other host right over there.
What's up? It's D. Good to see you again. The 49ers have a new defensive coordinator. But before we get into that, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And go ahead and hit that notification bell to see what we're up to on this here YouTube channel.
We know D'Amico's gone, just came in. Steve Wilks will be the 49ers defense coordinator, and Kasarik is actually staying on staff. So what do you like about these defensive changes going on? And I believe the D line or the secondary, the passing game coach in the secondary, he's gone.
Yeah.
So what do you think about all these changes?
Yeah, so I think Steve Wilks is a high-level coach. We've seen on display just what kind of coach he is. He rights the ship with the Carolina Panthers. He runs the shit out of the ball. He's a very meat and potatoes coach. And we know that he is good enough to be the head guy. I think what happened in Carolina is realistically the ownership is not very patient. Ownership, we've seen that they don't want to, hey, let's just stick with a guy who is a professional, who is an adult in the room and can get us where we need to be, and start to build this foundation. They want a big splash.
They don't want a Dan Campbell.
Yeah, they want to hey, let's bring in a guy almost Brandon Staley-ish in Frank Wright, who hasn't really proved it, who's done well in the offensive coordinator spot, but may be lacking in the head coaching department, but is a bigger name than Steve Wilks. So I think that's what happened there. I really like this move for Kyle Shanahan. I think Wilks is a guy who's going to bring a lot of solidarity into this locker room. And I think that him and Kyle are two guys that could mesh very well together. And I think that it's a huge, huge, huge win to keep Chris Kasarik. I think that he is content. He's even said before that he does want to stay as the D-line coach. He hasn't hey, it'd be cool to be a DC, but realistically, my heart is with the D-line. And he actually had the opportunity to move over to the Texans and decided to pass on it and stay with the 49ers. So goes to show you he thinks it's something special.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this defense. I think it's going to continue to be pretty dominant with Steve Wilks. You just look at that Panthers team in the second half of the season. They were motivated. They played some good ball. They didn't have a quarterback, but they definitely had a defense. And it's going to be cool to see him transition from having Brian Burns to now having Nick Bosa and seeing what they can do right there with that relationship. And this is a guy who I think in maybe 2 years could jump to a head coaching position. It's weird to me that he didn't have a bigger market, but I guess it was tough. Teams are looking for an offensive guy. The job he's leaving is the team he's leaving was a team looking for a head coach, but they wanted to go in a different direction, I guess. And Sean Payne looming, D'Amico being a big candidate for jobs. I think it was just a tough market for this guy. So we're going to give him a year, give him 2 years, see what he can do with his defense. And he knows coming in that this can boost his job possibility 100%. And I love that Kasarik staying. Look at what he's done with these role player guys like Kerry Hyder Jr. when he was here before. Amazing. Played way above his talent, went somewhere else, came back, still a solid role player. Ebukam, he's probably going to earn a bag this offseason from being on this line. Omenihu, look at what he's done. When we got Omenihu from Houston, he was just some guy that can rush once in a while on third passing downs. They knew he had some juice to get to the quarterback, but now he's came in. He's looked great. He looks like a starter too. And so we're just going to keep pumping these guys out. Hopefully I'm looking forward to see what we get in the draft and how Drake Jackson progresses into next season.
Yeah. And I think that this is kind of the perfect landing spot for Steve Wilks. He's a guy who I think what they say is good coaches get, the best out of your best performers, some of the time, but great coaches get great performance out of your best players all the time. And so I think he's had star players at each level over there with Carolina being Jeremy Chin at safety, J.C. Horn at corner, and then Brian Burns on the D line. And so if he looks around his defense, he's like, there's some talent here. Let's work with this. The D line is stacked at corner. We'll actually have a lot of young talent who really want to prove themselves. And Hufanga and whoever you decide to put there next to him, whether it be Gibson come back or you draft or you take someone from that we've had previously and maybe bring back Leon O'Neal. You got some gas to this fire here.
Yeah, the secondary is going to be the biggest question of this offseason. But I think people are they're stuck on like the players that are currently here in the room now. We have a whole free agency. We have a whole draft to get through to see what this secondary room is going to look like going into the offseason. And we already have like some guys that were kind of practice squad all year, some really young guys coming back in training camp to compete. And we saw it firsthand in training camp. There was a lot of competition to get on this roster in the secondary. It was kind of wide open.
Yeah, like, so I'd be excited to see like who on first impressions, who Steve Wilks actually likes. So a guy that we had seen before who was kind of in the doghouse was Ambry Thomas. Maybe he comes in and he's like, Ambry's a fucking stud. You know what? I actually can work with this guy. He has all the tools. When he was on the field during his rookie season, yeah, he got burnt a couple of times, but realistically, he was in position a lot. I think I could work with this guy. Let me go ahead and take him under my wing. Or maybe a guy like Samuel Womack. Hey, you know what? Samuel Womack has elite ball skills. I really want to work this guy in, not just at the nickel. Maybe I put him opposite Charvarius Ward and really see what he got. So like, I'm excited to see who he steps in and is like, you're my guy. Like, it's you, and you. Like, I really like you. I think we could develop. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, and whether that's well, I like this guy so much, I'm gonna put him in this position, or what if it's like hey, I like Samuel Womack so much, let's try him at safety next to Ufunga. Let's see, because we saw them moving around in preseason last year, and it's just like kind of odd to me how he didn't even play like all the regular season.
Yeah,
they kind of just, well, maybe he's not ready, but they did the same thing with Demo and Ambry the previous year, until they ran out of guys and they had to throw Ambry Thomas in there. And look what happened. Like, Ambry gets forced to play and he looks like a solid starter. He makes some big plays to get us through into the playoffs. And then this year, Demo, he's kind of forced to play. And by the end of the year, he's looking like a great starting corner. I think he gave up like no touchdowns this season. I don't think he gave up a touchdown. So maybe we just need to... I don't know if it's Kyle in practice thinking like, well, I don't know. I don't trust these young corners, these young safeties. But once we get in the game, like they're kind of proving them wrong.
Yeah.
So we'll see, man. I'm hoping we do draft a safety or corner to just throw in the mix, see what comes out.